All right, so here we are. It's the summer 2014. The term is over, and we had a terrific semester, and we've got some pretty cool stuff to show off for it. We've had some highly skilled, highly motivated students working on some really neat stuff, and we're going to demo it off now. So first up, we've got Peter Tran, who is going to demonstrate some work he's been doing with the Review Together extension. So go ahead and take it away, Peter.
All right. So, um, this is the my local instance of review board, and what I installed is an extension from Together.js, which is an existing open source framework for WebRTC, and I integrated it into review board so people can download it and start using it. And this is how it works. On one person's screen, like say on the left side here, you launch your chat application and you can send the link over to the peer. And you guys are kind of like screen sharing. And the feature I built was this green bar on the left, or this orange bar on the right. That's just the scroll position of your peer. And the extension actually, by default, runs on the Mozilla servers. And I set it up so you can run your own server. So that's running here. The server code is available online on GitHub, and you just download it. And as long as you have Node, you just run the server first, get the URL, and then plug it into the configuration page here. And that's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Peter. That's so cool. I'm very pleased with that. I think that's going to be really useful for things like doing pair reviews on review requests where, two people can, maybe even like training reviews where you're showing people how to do a review. You can walk someone through it, or if you need someone else to walk you through some code, I think that can be super, super useful.
Yeah, I think we're going to get like a lot of people very interested in that once we release it. We want to star extensions.
Very, very cool. Are there any questions for Peter before we continue? All right. So coming up next, we've got Salam, who is going to show off some work he's been doing with the checklist extension. So take it away, Salam.
All right. So through the summer, I've taken over the checklist extension, which is what you can see on the right hand of the screen. Pretty much, you can put checklist for when you're reviewing a review, so that when you're going through the review, you can check them off. So what I have done is I changed the styling of it, and I fixed some bugs. You can minimize it and maximize it. You can edit the items. You can delete them as well. Yeah, and then you can add new items. This was all from the old reviewer request checklist, but I have changed how it looks. And I also have been working on the templates in the checklist, which can be accessed through this link, checklist/manager. Once it opens, it pulls up all the checklists that you have. You can see them right here. You can add a new template. And then by clicking enter, you add in a new item, and then you can add new items to it. I mean, you add a new list of items, and then you can add new items. By enter, you can add another item. Now, this is a bug that I found in it, and I'm not sure why does it do that. Sometimes it adds more than one, and sometimes it only adds one of it. Yeah. You can remove items also. It's buggy. I admit that. And yeah,
Awesome. That's very cool. I'm really pleased to see how much more like native looking it is in the UI. Like it looks much more like it belongs in Review Board as opposed to like it looked kind of really external before, like very
right.
on.
That was true.
So really liking that. Are there any questions for Salam?
Yeah, where do the checklist items come from? You just create it yourself?
Yes, you add the items yourself. Well, what I was working on is to add a template so that you don't have to add the templates to the items yourself. So now what I showed you here, I'm creating a list so that each item in the list, in the template list, can be added to the checklist item so that you don't have to retype them every time you want it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, reusable checklists. That's good, especially as you like learn over time about what you need to have on your checklist and what you don't need to have on your checklist.
Sure.
Your checklist can like evolve with you as you learn. I think that's very cool.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Salam. Coming up next, we've got Vladimir. Vladimir, you've been doing some work on attachments and revisions of attachments. Is that correct?
Yep. First question, how do I share my screen?
Great question. I don't know.
On the left side, it's a green icon with an arrow, white arrow on it.
Yep. Cool.
There you go.
Okay, can you see it?
Yes. Let me just pull it up. There you go. All right, take it away, Vladimir.
Awesome, cool. So if you look at the current version of the reviews.reviewboard.org, if you've got some, say, screenshots uploaded, you can't really update the version of the existing screenshot. So if you uploaded one and then you sort of want to like reiterate, the only thing you can do is sort of delete the old one and upload the new one. But then if you sort of want to keep several versions around, well, you sort of might get lost. So the thing that you might want to do is sort of update the version of each attachment, just like you do for the diffs. So the way it works is that the thumbnail get a new drop-down button which has the update button on it, and you can upload the new version for each attachment. Say the final. This is the instance that I'm running locally. So once you've uploaded the final version, you can go to the review button, and then you have several versions of the attachment you've uploaded. So you've got the first revision, well, which is 0, and the first one, and the final revision. This works for all kinds of attachments, I guess. There is even a generic version which sort of handles everything which can't be rendered. So for now, let's sort of just add text, which is some C++ file, and then we'll update it. Let's put the new version. Cool, and if you go to review, you will be able to see a revision selector. So the one problem you can probably see right off is that the UI for selecting the revisions is absent right now. So there were changes implemented to the model which keeps track of the revisions, and potentially there is a field to sort of implement the ordering of each file attachment, so that you should be able to drag each attachment and set its exact position. And yeah. Some of the changes were pushed to the master branch, but those were sort of generic changes to enable the backbone views to support updating versions. But yeah, most changes, I assume, will be pushed to the project branch. Yeah, that's sort of it. That's pretty much it. You can update versions of each file attachment. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Can you just mention a little bit, talk a little bit about the database changes that you had to make
Yes. So the changes were made pretty much to two tables. One of them is file attachment, and the second one is the new table called file attachment history. So file attachment history is sort of the table that is used to group several file attachments into one. So you can sort of have three file attachments, which are sort of the updates to the one file attachment. They will have the same file attachment history ID, and there is an additional field called position. Right now it's just being incremented, but potentially someone can create logic to assign different position IDs so that you can reorder attachments. And yeah, as for file attachments, pretty much the only field added to it is the external reference to the file attachment history. Yeah, that's pretty much the changes to the model.
That's awesome. I'm really happy about that, especially as like you go through many iterations of something. You have so many screenshots, and you know your patch evolves over time. Like both Salam and Peter, for example, did a lot of iteration on their UIs, and this would be totally useful for work like that, where you get to see the progression over time as each of the screenshots develops. I think that's really cool.
Cool.
All right, so that was a fantastic semester's worth of work. Thumbs up all around, really pleased. Our students worked really, really hard this semester. You all deserve a pat on the back. So thank you very much, and take care. Bye.